tonight. It's coming tonight. Hot damn tonight. Oh, didn't see you guys there. Anyway, I'm back with another game pickups video. Not a whole lot this time. I'm trying to trying to work on games that I already have, like, beating those before I buy more, or at least when it comes to newer games. This time I just have Switch and Genesis. Genesis Switch. That should be the name of the game. Anyway, before I get to the games, this one little thing that I found that I thought was pretty cool. It's a Donkey Kong Bank. So you put the coin in the top slot here. You can see that. And yeah. So anyway, on to the games. We'll start with the Genesis. First we got Rocket Knight Adventures. I remember this from when I was a kid because my brother had rented it once or twice. And it's a very fun platform. Funny thing, these Genesis games are all Konami, by the way. But yeah, it's a pretty unique concept too. It's like you're playing as an opossum with medieval armor, with a jetpack. Yeah, it's a great platform. And as I mentioned in my platformers I'd love to see return video, this is one of the characters I had mentioned. But yeah, you'd have to get Konami on board for that. Like I said, it's a great game. Definitely worth checking out. So the one for the Super Nintendo is good too, but that one's more expensive. Next we have Tiny Toon Adventures, Buster's Hidden Treasure. Now, Tiny Toon Adventures is a show that I loved as a kid. Actually, I still enjoy that show. It still makes me... Some of the stuff in that show still makes me laugh. But anyway, yeah, I love that show, or cartoon, whatever. And this is a good Tiny Toon game. Most of their games are pretty good, well, more so a lot of the more retro ones, like Super Nintendo and Genesis and NES. Those are... yeah. But, my point is that it's a good platformer. The main villain is Gene Splicer, which is kind of interesting, because I'm pretty sure he was only in one episode, not counting all the times he was like a background character. But, yeah, fun little platformer, and I think like a mini collector's goal type of thing I'm going to make for myself is that, because I already have a bunch of the Tiny Toon games, and because I love that show so much, I think I'm going to try and collect all the Tiny Toon games, even the bad ones. Like, I mean, I've seen, like, reviews and Let's Plays of the game on PlayStation, and I was like, but whatever, like I said, I'm going to try and collect them all. So the last one, Dreaded Death Rattle. Fortunately, the game does still play, though. It's TMNT, The Hyperstone Heist. Never played this one as a kid. I was always more familiar with Turtles in Time. But it's an awesome beat-em-up. A great TMNT entry, even though it's like 20-something years old. But, yeah, it's very similar to Turtles in Time. In fact, pretty much all the songs or music from Turtles in Time is in this game. And in fact, I think some of those themes actually sound better in this version than they do in the Super Nintendo game, at least in my opinion. Yeah. So, let me just get a quick drink and then we'll move on to the Switch. So, a funny thing, this first Switch game, I had picked it up, or I found it in the store and bought it, like, literally right after I did my last game pickups video. I was like, seriously? But whatever, it gave me more time to play it and stuff. So, anyways, it's Daemon X Machina. It's pretty much like Mobile Suit Gundam, so if you like that type of stuff, you'll probably like this. The gameplay is very good, the music is awesome, and the customization is very detailed. And, well, I don't know what else I can say about it, but it's a very good game. Not great, but it is good. And the online is a lot of fun. Now, this next one I was really excited about when I first heard about it, like on... Actually, I had heard about this through YouTube. It was like a video that was that Natsume had on their channel. Like, it was just recommended to me, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't know about this. So, like, well, anyway, it's, I can never remember the name of it, because I don't know. Well, at least, I think one version was different or something, I don't know. Anyways, it's Ninja Warriors, Return of the Ninja Warriors. See, I thought it was Ninja Warriors once again. Like, I thought that was the name of that. Maybe it's, I don't know. Anyway, this was a classic arcade I never played the arcade version back in the day, but I played the Super Nintendo version. It was a beat 'em up. I don't know if it was on the Genesis. I know it was on the Super Nintendo, and like I said, it was an arcade. But anyway, I played the Super Nintendo a lot when I was a kid. Game, Ninja Warriors game, Super Nintendo. Anyway, but it's an awesome beat 'em up. The only flaw was that it was only for one player. So with this remaster, they made it for 2 players, and they actually added 2 new characters. Which you unlock them by, one you unlock by beating it on normal, the other one you unlock by beating it on hard mode. And it comes with this, because I bought it physically, it comes with this little, artwork. Like this little booklet thing that shows all the characters in it. The new character, there's actually these little, there's also a poster, which I'm not going to dig that out right now. And then there's little card things about the new characters. As for the new characters, they're okay. Like, you have Yaksha, who you unlock by beating it on normal mode, and she's alright. She's a little, stiff, in my opinion. Like, she's not very... it's hard to explain. And then the other guy you unlock, I think his name is Raiden, and he's like this huge powerhouse guy who takes up almost the whole screen, so it's kind of a cool idea in a way, but it just feels a little bit out of place. Other than that, the game is awesome. It's a great remaster. I love seeing Natsume remaster these old games and this. So the next one is actually a double dip, because, let me just show you to it first. It's Friday the 13th, the game. This is actually the Ultimate Slasher Edition, so it comes with all the DLC, bonus content and such. Now, the thing was, I had bought this a few years ago digitally on the Xbone, and then I was like, hey, if it gets ported to the Switch, I'll buy it again, like the physical version or whatever. So, sure enough, it did get ported to the Switch, and because it's, I got the physical version, it comes with a poster, which, again, I'm not going to dig that out right now. And the other reason I wanted to buy it again for the Switch is because I was like, I wonder if, I had a theory, which turned out, I was right, so to speak, was that when I play it in the portable mode, it actually adds to the suspense factor. And something I want to try, once the springtime comes and the weather's nice out, I want to try playing this in the portable mode out in the woods at night. So long as there's Wi-Fi in the air, which probably shouldn't be a problem. There's literally Wi-Fi everywhere. Oh boy. The next game, Contra Rogue Corps. Now here's the thing. If you have even the slightest bit of interest in this game, do what I did. Try the demo and see what you think. And then, just go from there. Because, I tried the demo and I was like, okay, it's not bad, but it's not great. I'll give it a shot, And you can find this game pretty cheap, if you shop around. I mean, I saw somebody buy the PS4 version for literally $5. But yeah, it's very different from from other Contra games, like the more classic ones. The gameplay, it almost reminds me of a cross between Smash TV and Gauntlet. And you fight hordes of mutants, and you can blow up cars, and they'll go fly, and sometimes they fly into the screen, which is kind of funny. You can stun enemies, and sometimes you can do, if you stun an enemy, you can do kind of a fatality type of thing. And the characters, Bill Reiser or none of the other infamous characters in it. Instead, you have a cyborg, a panda, just a bug guy, and some woman who has a parasitic alien in her stomach that has a sword sticking in it to control it, or something like that. So yeah, overall the game is okay. It's not great. Like I said, try the demo, see what you think. But I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, at least Konami, I guess they're trying, but it's you gotta have to try a lot harder than that if you want to win people back, Konami. So, a quick drink, and then we'll get into the last game. Oh, it's right on the radiator. My waters are warming up from that. Anyway, the last one is Pokemon Sword. Now, there's been quite a bit of an ongoing controversy with these games, the, Sword and Shield. If you're unfamiliar with it, let me just kind of sum it up a bit. Basically, what had happened was Game Freak, developers of the mainline Pokemon games, I think it was over the summer. Well, before I get into that, let me just state the fact that there is now over 900 Pokemon in existence. Just take that in for a moment, because it's kind of important for what I'm going to say, especially like toward the end. Okay. I think it was over the summer, Game Freak had stated they were cutting content to focus on other features, which they didn't exactly deliver on. More specifically, they cut Pokemon from the game. They cut half the Pokemon. There's only 450 in the game. They didn't say they were cutting that much, but, that's how much they were cutting. And the reason was because they're like, oh, we had to sacrifice them for, better graphics and, animations. And, the graphics and animations aren't, too impressive, so... And then, what also happened was, they actually had divided their development team. I don't think anybody even knows the exact numbers of, who worked on what, but the point is, one portion worked on the Sword and Shield games, while another portion worked on a game called Little Town Hero. With that game, I like the style of the characters and the monsters and stuff, but the gameplay isn't really my thing. And then, just about a week or two ago, actually, well, more than a week or two, but yeah, a couple of weeks ago, few weeks, whatever, recently, they had announced a DLC expansion pack, which basically it's 2 new regions to explore and 200 of the Pokemon that weren't in the game, as well as some new ones. So, that kind of just adds more fuel to the fire. That's, just somewhat an idea of what the controversy is. There's much more detailed videos on the subject out there if you're interested. But anyway, see, like anything, I was very neutral about the situation. I was like, oh, the game does look fun. I'll still give it a benefit of the doubt, So, as someone who's played the game, I'll say this: it's fun, but it is definitely flawed. So what I'm going to do something I never really did before. I'm going to do basically a build-up review. I'm going to talk about the negatives, then the neutral, and then the positives. Okay, so first the negatives. Well, the badges that you get are literally just named after the types of Pokemon that the gym leaders use. Like, for example, the first gym leader uses grass Pokemon, so instead of calling it, the foliage badge or something, it's just called the grass badge. If this was, the first games in the series, that'll be a little bit understandable, but they're not. So, the next thing is... The story is... It's okay, but it's honestly kind of forgettable, in my opinion. It's not as good as, previous entries in the series. Next is... I do have to agree with the animations. They're very... Some of them, some of them are okay, but others are just, feel so lacking. It's almost like when you're in a battle and the Pokemon's doing, their battle stance, they're kind of just like this. It's not all of them, but some of them are kind of just they almost look like they're bored. And some of the battle animations are just very weak. And the other thing is that, I know I'm not alone in this either, was that there was no new evolution, which is almost like a tradition with Pokemon, with the even number games. Gen 2 added in Umbreon and Espeon, Gen 4 added in Glaceon and Leafeon, and Gen 6 added on Sylveon. Gen 8, which is this, added in nada. But, maybe though it will be in the expansion pass, I don't know. But let's move on to the neutral stuff. The first thing is, the game feels pretty easy, but, I think some of that is me. I'll admit I'm not as obsessed with Pokemon as I was 20 years ago. And, that brings me to the next thing, is that it's very easy to level up your Pokemon, between camping, experience candy, and the fact that the experience share is always on. It's very easy to level up your Pokemon, which it's kind of good and bad in my opinion, because it's see, I don't mind grinding in games. In an odd way, I actually kind of like it. But with Pokemon, it always felt a bit tedious. So it's kind of nice that it's a little bit easier to do so in this game, in this region, genre, whatever. And then the next thing is that when it comes to Pokemon who are cut from the game, it's kind of like... It's like, yeah, they kept in a lot of the weird ones, but they kept in some of the cool ones, too. Like, it's... You know, like, I mean... It's all a matter of opinion, really. I mean, you know, everybody has their favorites and least favorites and stuff. Like, for example, my favorite Pokemon of all time is Scyther, and yeah, I'm disappointed that it's not in the game, but I'm not losing sleep over it, and hell, I'm sure there's people who don't like Scyther, and that's fine. You know, and I was, even, like, when I was a kid playing, like, the first games, you know, Blue and Red and stuff, even then I never really cared about collecting, like, you know, maxing out the Pokedex and stuff. I never really cared about maxing out the Pokedex, so I was like, yeah, like 450 or whatever, that's fine. I'm not going to try and catch all of them anyway. But I understand why other people would be upset about that. But now let's move on to the positives. For starters, the music is very good. When it comes to music by like bands and genre artists and stuff, my most favorite is punk. And then like metal is a close second. Everything else is pretty much tied for third. And the reason I bring that up is because there's a lot of punk rock type stuff in this game. In fact, there's even a punk rock Pokemon. The next thing is that I never got into Pokemon Go, and I played Pokemon Let's Go. I mean, I played the demo, and I was like, it's all right. It's like not really feeling it. But I like how they carried over the feature that you can actually see the Pokemon in the grass and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool. You know, before you encounter them, you can see them in the grass. The other thing is, there was one. Well, the Gigantamax thing, which is just like basically another gimmick. Like they come up with a different gimmick for each generation, and what I actually kind of like about this one, to some extent, is that, you know, Gigantamax is basically the Pokemon gets like huge, and then they like glow red. One thing I do kind of like about it is for the raid battles, where it's basically like, even though it's hard to play to get someone to play online. Usually you have to rely on AIs who are, well, stupid. But yeah, it's the thing with the raid battles can be actually kind of fun, because it's like, what it is like, if you and your allies don't Gigantamax your Pokemon, you just have to keep them regular and fight the giant Pokemon. You know, it's like you're launching different attacks to try and weaken it. It kind of reminds me of those things you'd see in, like, you know, cartoons and movies and comic books and stuff, when you have like this powerful villain, and then you have a group of heroes teaming up to fight him. I always love that type of stuff, and that kind of reminds me of this. Well, the next thing is the wild area, which is honestly like the best part of the game. It's this big open 3D environment where you can encounter all kinds of different Pokemon, like depending on the locations and the weather and stuff. But like I said, it's honestly the best part of the game. It's almost like the Safari Zone, but 3 times bigger and with no time limit. You can go there whenever you want, really. It's like when I first played the game, I was literally in there for 2.5 hours. So it's very addicting to explore it, even after you've seen everything. You know, it's a very cool thing. And the last thing is that, well, in the Pokemon games, it's like you gather the 8 gym badges, and then you use them to challenge the Elite Four and then the champion. Well, as in the anime, you know, Ash or whoever, they collect 8 gym badges, and then they go into like a tournament. And they kind of did something like that in this. You know, there's no Elite Four. Instead, you do like kind of a tournament type of thing. And it was like, you know, that's actually kind of cool. Like, because it's like the anime. You know, they did something different. And like, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, those are like the positives about the game. As for the expansion pass, I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. Which actually, I'll get back to that more in a moment. Because the thing is, I think this is going to be my last mainline Pokemon game. I mean, I'll probably still play the occasional spin-off. I definitely intend on getting Red Rescue Team, the remake. But when it comes to like the core mainline games, I think this will be my last one, because Well, I said to, I think it was around the time Gen 5 came out, I said it was like, once there's over 1,000 Pokemon in existence, I think I'm going to be done. Mainly because it's too many names and wands to remember and stuff, and like I said, the games don't grab me like they used to. So, by the time Gen 9 comes out, there will be at least 1,000 Pokemon, so I was like, no matter how good it looks, I was like, nah, I think I'll pass. Which brings me back to the DLC. It's like, I don't know, because I've stated this in videos before, it's like, I have to be in the right mood to play a Pokemon game, and because the DLC doesn't launch till, well, it's two parts. One comes out in June, the other comes out in fall, unless they delay it or something, but that aside, that's like, 6 months away. I don't know, I might have lost interest in the game by then. But, on the other hand, if this is going to be my last mainline Pokemon game, maybe I should get out as much out of it as I can. So, like I said, I'm a little on the fence about the DLC. I don't know if I'll get it or not, but yeah. Anyway, so that's all my pickups for the past few months or so. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a nice day, everyone.